welcome everyone. So glad to be joined this evening by Wa and Dr. James Leary for our first Thursday night thrive. We've been doing a few Sunday night thrives and we're thrilled to expand it to Thursday night as well. Wa is an amazing musician, kirtan artist, yoga teacher. If you've taken a class in a yoga studio in the last decade, I'm sure you've heard her music. And she'll be leading a workshop at the center of this coming spring, coming up pretty close with Dr. James Leary. Dr. James is a very skilled doctor of Oriental medicine and also very skilled with energy healing overall. Would you say that's okay to say?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And of course, there are both so much more that can be encapsulated in these few words, but just to kick it off, welcome to the webinar tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our workshop is April 18 through 22 at Art of Living Retreat Center in Boone, North Carolina.
Nice. And so just to give you an overview of the program, we'll have a little music since Wa is such a great musician. We'll do some Q&A. We have a lot of questions that everyone has already sent in for this one. And then we'll also do a really nice kind of going inward guided meditation experience.
Good. So you can't see, but I have my harmonium here.
Yeah, they can see.
So I'll be playing for you.
Okay.
The words are Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So 5 syllables, Om, and then 5 syllables, Na, Ma, Shi, Va, Ya. Bowing to consciousness within, to the inner directive, to the inner light. So if you're at home, sing along. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah See the light within. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Let's do one more time. Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So, welcome everybody. Andrew, if you can hear us, then let us know.
Pardon?
If you at any point can't hear us, then just let us know.
Loud and clear so far.
Okay, so welcome and thank you for having us on the Thrive program. We asked some of our students and fans to tell us what they would like to hear about. So the first one is from Tanya Hoffman, who says, sometimes I lose my daily practice. Do you have any inspirations for continuing a daily practice? What advice can you offer? So James, all right, so namaste, Tanya. My thoughts about daily practice are to have several things that you like to do and that you know how to do that are in different time lengths. So have something that, in other words, you have a tool kit, you have a toolbox, and put a couple of things in there that you can do. So if you have an hour, then maybe you'll do a yoga practice with a relaxation. If you have a half an hour, maybe you'll just do yoga practice and stretching with no relaxation. If you have 15 minutes, maybe you'll just do some stretching and maybe a little tapping, a little bit of meridian or marma point stimulation, and that's it. If you have 5 minutes, then maybe you'll do EFT, some other, a quick fix or a forgiveness meditation that we teach during our retreat called Ho'oponopono. Or if you have only 2 minutes, you might just go outside, you might catch a breath of fresh air, you might just invite Mother Nature to be with you for the next segment, the next hour, the next, for the afternoon, for the morning, like that. So Tanya, what I would say is have a few things that you know how to do. And if you have only 5 minutes, then you do alternate nostril breathing. If you have 15 minutes, then do a couple of sun salutations and a short meditation. If you have an hour, then do the complete practice. So, but always do something. So never have a day where that goes by where you didn't spend a certain amount of time with yourself. Do you want to say for so many minutes?
There's, if you look at it, there's 1,440 minutes in a day. And it's like most people really don't afford themselves a few minutes of quality time. And for myself, you know, my biggest practice is a daily meditation of, you know, stepping outside, or if the weather's really, really bad, I'll look out the window and find something of nature that really catches my eye. Take a deep breath and I'll just clear. And then basically what I do is just allow nature to commute, you know, and allow me to breathe with it. And it's such a clearing and energizing way to increase the ability to take in what we really need to from the universe, from nature. And it is a meditation. And it could be 10 seconds, it could be 5 minutes, it could be whatever. Again, to afford ourselves a little bit of time during the day, just it adds up and makes for just amazing, amazing energy.
Yeah, and what James said is that the daily practice first is a practice of clearing. So, and that's always true with what we do. First, you're out with the old, and second, in with the new. So you can't bring in the new day if you haven't cleared out the old. And so part of what James is describing is what we teach in our workshop, which is the clearing breath. And so you inhale, find something in the consciousness that is congested, that doesn't belong, and then, and in my classes, I call it self-messaging. And, you know, I say, you know, only you know if you've messaged your cells. You can, you know, communicate with your cells just like you send a text message on your phone. But only you know if that message has gone to the cells. And so we often practice in this way. So I say, inhale, hold the breath, find something that didn't go well yesterday, or even today. Find something that didn't go well, that didn't resolve completely. You wished it had worked out a little better. And then exhale that out, release it. Okay, you've done your work, now the universe has to follow along. So what we do is we think, oh, it's all, I have to fix this. And so as you release, then you release it into the universe. So we'll try one more time. Inhale. And now find a body part that isn't working or that you don't like. And now exhale that constriction out. Okay? That's another, these are called false beliefs. And so you think that you're in charge. You think that you should be the one that's fixing this illness, or I got a kink in my neck, or, you know, whatever's there. But as James always describes, like, you have to tie into the energy of Mother Nature. You have to tie into the healing energy, which is around you, and allow it to flow through you rather than taking it and constricting. So first part of your daily practice is clearing. So I would ask you, Tanya, I would say, are the things that you're lining up to do, are those things clearing your energy? Are they effective in clearing your energy so that you can start your day? All right, so you don't just sit down and you're like, okay, and now I'm going to visualize world peace. That's an unrealistic daily practice. So your daily practice has to start with the exhale. It has to start with, it has to start with that reset. So you need a couple of things that have those, that effectiveness in it. So daily practice consists of clearing and inspiration, or setting intention for the new. So thank you, Tanya. Next up, we have Julia Shakeman. Namaste, Julia. Julia asks, can you speak a little bit about the intensity of healing? James?
The intensity of healing is only controlled by our lack of, this is my perspective, all this. Doing this for over 50 years. The false beliefs we have within us, no disrespect to where they came from. It's like, who are we? Where are we right now? And what kind of healing do we, anticipate or want or dream about? And then is to look at, where is it that we want to go and how do we want to get there? And if we have no idea about it, it becomes very difficult. But the intensity of healing is only governed by how much effort you want to have to allowing yourself to let go of old patterns, old beliefs at a cellular level of things that aren't true to you. And again, there's in the workshop we cover it, but there's really easy ways to using your breath, taking an inhale with a particular belief and seeing if it's true to you. Because, it's like having something that you totally dislike. If you think about it and you bring that intention out of it, you try to inhale with it, you're not going to get a good breath. It just doesn't work, or hardly a breath at all. Whereas when you look at something that is true to you, even if you think you dislike it, you'll be able to take a very deep breath. It just fills the body. So the intensity of healing and the aspects of it was only governed by what we don't allow.
Yeah. Sometimes you have reached forward in your life and you're dreaming about something new. And for a variety of reasons, you have to continue or fulfill a contract or finish a project or complete the lease. And so you're not able to get out of it right away. And so that can be an intense moment when you feel that you're ready to move on, and yet there's still some obligations that need to be attended to. And so you have to move forward in your life as if the new is right around the corner, as if the new is already happening. In another day or two, you're going to be there, or another month or two, then you're going to switch over to the new pattern. And so then as the old patterns come up, you just simply acknowledge them. And like James says, then you don't carry them in the body like you used to. So a lot of times the intensity within the body comes because you're continuing to hold on to the false belief even when it's time to let it go. So the body itself will teach you. So it's like, which side is impaired or which organs are affected. I had someone in yoga class last week who then she couldn't get real movement in her heart center. And as I started showing her how to do that, she was like, wow. And I was like, yeah, like those angel wings that are in the back of your heart are designed to protect you and to have you feel the support of your ancestors, your parents, the gods, the deities. And so if you're trying to protect yourself from the heart, if you're trying to protect yourself from the front, then you're freezing up and you're not able to let the new stuff in. And so the protection has to come from the back. And so then this is what I call sexy or fluid. You're allowing the energy to move in and out of the heart, knowing that these beautiful shoulder blades behind you, these angel wings, are then, they've got you. You feel secure, and James often says that the heart heals all. And so the intensity sometimes is that you don't know how to release those old belief patterns. And I think that's where James really excels, is you're doing the best that you can, and you're moving forward in spiritual progress and personal growth as best you can. And then James has the ability to push chi. And this is an ancient science that of course comes from the Far East. And pushing chi is really, in some ways, pushing energy in the same way that you push energy when you blow through the air, then it pushes, photons, it pushes air molecules through the air. But when James pushes chi, he's able to he's able to connect with the quantum field of the cells. So the origin point of the belief and behavior patterns. And so when he goes in or he taps, he's pinpointing to go exactly there and then dissolve the old belief that you're holding in you're holding it in your muscles, in your cells. And so as he helps you release it, then you have the capacity for a new life. So the intensity really is in that struggle, right? Is that you intellectually, you know that you could move forward and you're not. The pattern comes up again and again, you get frustrated. So the intensity can be frustration, it can be pain.
A lot of times the intensity, to keep it simple, is really, if you think about it, is our resistance to change. And it's like, in a sense of moving your hands, and after a while, the harder you do this, faster you do it, it creates heat. The resistance is what creates heat. So in the intensity of what do we allow, what do we not allow, it, again, that gets back into just a simple way of, looking at ourselves and saying it's okay, that we can heal, and allowing the universe to connect through us. And it's magic, and it's just so beautiful. It's just to watch the energy.
Shall we try that? So what he's saying is that intensity or friction or heat or energy is not something to shy away from. So the intensity of healing, then sometimes it's like it's a bigger experience, but that's where you're headed. You're headed to a more expanded version of yourself. So just take your hands. James can actually make a sound. I can't. But at any rate, just press the hands together and just feel the friction. Good. And then just place the hands on the face and just feel the heat moving into the face. You can open the eyes if you want. Okay. So a little bit about the intensity of healing. So, Andrew, we've got some chats coming in. Do you want to?
Yeah, we have a live question from Sachin. He's says, thank you for all your awesome seva and your amazing music. He's been listening for years. He is appreciative of both of you and is asking, how to deal with jealousy. Do you have any advice to help him overcome that?
Sure. Jealousy is self-hatred turned outwards. So when you're jealous of someone else, what the root of that energy actually is self-loathing. And so you're projecting it on someone else that I'm not good enough, I hate myself, and therefore I think that that other person is better. And so the work actually in jealousy is to work on dissolving, forgiving, loving that aspect of yourself that allows self-love to come in. And so then there won't be a comparative study anymore. That kind of comparison dialogue, am I better than this person or that person? Then it's just like you're able to arrive at the statement of, I simply am, I'm this way. I didn't make myself this way. I've just simply evolved to this point, and this is who I am at this given point in time. And that's okay. And that's magical, and that's special. And so that the kind of self-love that's necessary for you to be able to move on will be important to do right now. James, do you have?
A lot of times in the past, my own growth in looking with jealousy, it's like, it's never simple, but when I look at it and go from what I was taught, and to make it applicable is, where is that thought coming from? Where is that emotion coming from? And you look at yourself, how you truly look when nobody's around, and when you're full of embrace and love for yourself. that emotion comes from an external source. Yes, it is us. And it's some of the things that it's like, you know, where was the seed planted where I would have to look at somebody else to compare myself to? And it's like, just like she said, like Was said, it's like it's something you can, you know, work and breathe through.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. What's your name again?
Sachin.
Sachin.
Sachin. Yeah.
Sachin. Okay. Namaste,
Sachin.
Sachin. Okay. So let's take a breath together. And let's visualize that place where we don't feel like we're adequate, where we don't feel like we're enough, that other people are enough, but we are not. And now exhale that out. Okay, we didn't get it all, so let's try again. All right, so inhale. Taking this experience that brings to light your feelings of jealousy that someone else is better, and exhaling it out, like blowing candles on a cake. Forceful, like not like we're one happy family, not like no, we want the actual diaphragm to be to really move the energy and move the energy out of the system. Okay, so hopefully we've given a little bit of energy to the beginning of your journey with jealousy, and we offer our prayers for self-love and dissolving into practices of kindness. So find a practice of kindness, a walk or some kind of self-care that you enjoy, and start with that, okay? And email us back. All right, so we'll take one from our side. So how about Nikita Mehta has asked us to talk about tapping. So namaste, Nikita. The practice of tapping, so basically then using the fingertips on the surface of the skin, using impact. So the way that I use tapping and the way that James uses tapping is different. Okay, so, and the difference is because he uses chi, and I'm just learning how to use chi. And so, you know, I come from the yoga world. I'm a trained masseuse. So, and I've had training in Ayurveda as well. So I'm coming from understanding the Chinese meridian lines, also the marma points. And then, you know, we'll do, you know, just regular tapping. Sometimes I use fists. Sometimes I use body drops, different kinds of impact in order to awaken the cells. I'll let James speak for himself how he uses tapping in some of the more refined areas of energetic work within his life chi renewal system. So there are meridian points that run through the body. Stomach comes down here, stomach 9, triple warmer around here. Let's see, like large intestine, small intestine coming down. So say like Nikita, say we were doing the very introduction to what tapping and meridian stimulation is. So I would say we would start with one of the exercises from Tibet. And so that is basically then hitting the body and moving the energy out on the top and then in on the bottom. So out on the top and then in on the bottom, out on the top and in on the bottom. And so you do that then on both sides. All right, so then what is that? So then the large intestine is going out on the top of the arm here. And so large intestine, you want to clear. That's your first job. You want to clear the energy of yesterday. You want to evacuate the body of anything that's been digested, anything that's been processed already in the body. Then you're just like, awesome, let's move on. You could just do the top, right? Nikita, try that. So you're just out on the top. But then you also want to bring in the new energy. And so in this Tibetan practice, you would then come in on the bottom. And so this is the small intestine. Small intestine in the Chinese system is the separation of the impure from the pure. So that's what the small intestine does, is that when you take in energy, you want to make sure that you're taking in energy that matches you. As James says, you want to feel like you can take a breath with it. And so then the energy that's coming in, you're affirming to yourself that you can separate the pure from the impure, and that you can bring in, digest, and absorb those things that are perfect for you. So then it's out with the old, what's been digested, and in, out, and in. Okay. And there are others tapping along the governing channels. We do different things, like I said, fingertip tapping. Sometimes I use the back of the knuckles. I'll use the inside of the fist here on the spine. So an introduction to the way that I might use tapping and the way I will use tapping in our retreat, which I will just remind you, April 18 through 22 at Art of Living Retreat Center in Boone, North Carolina. So James uses tapping in a different way because he's got more training.
It's a different concept. The body stores different types of emotions in different places. I mean, granted, we experience in the whole body, but in the ancient texts, we found that there's many different places. Just to keep it brief, like the livers, anger, rage, the spleen and stomach, the what if emotions, the lungs, joy and sorrow, and so there's many more. Within that, there's certain tapping that we do to activate the body to allow all of the energies to move, to heal, to out with the old and with the new. The thymus gland, which is, if you look at where your esophagus is, just about a couple fingers or so down, there's a little gland there, and there's a lot of research and talk about it. When people are babies are good size, as you get older, they grow, and then they start getting smaller, they say. Well, that's like the pineal gland and fluoride and different types of things that you can ingest that get your body to go into a state of atrophy in specific places. Knowing what we know and how the body operates at a cellular level, we know that every day the body replicates 300 to 800 billion cells, give or take. And the big question is, why do we replace it with the same thing? Tapping with intention, and this is a big thing, it's kind of it takes way more than an hour to cover this, but tapping like the thymus with the intention of out with the old, in with the new, and then to tap on the third eye, the pineal gland, which in essence, what we're really doing is communicating with the pituitary pineal, the hypothalamus gland, to get the body to regulate with this new intention, which is nature's intention. And this will create change like right now. So it's a great practice. And this is, again, what we cover in the retreat is something that you can take home and use every day, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you think of it just as this hand meeting this hand, and so that's the impact of just the fingertips on the skin, like that's the first level, is just like skin on skin and just tapping. But what James can do, what you can also learn to do through intention, is say I was tapping this in order to then transfer the energy through here and then be able to move into the cells of James through the tap. And so then I'm trying to show it on the camera. So then as I tap, then the energy is moving through the quantum field and then moving into James. And so if this were, say, the third eye, this point on the forehead, if this was the forehead, and then James's head is actually like the pituitary gland, and as he is tapping, it's moving through the cells to go in and access the pituitary gland. And so what he was referencing is fluoride, causes is a buildup around the pineal gland. There can be calcification around the pineal and other glands. And so as he uses qi, then he'll use the qi to go in and then shatter the calcification, which again is just a false protection around the pituitary or the pineal gland, which are the seats of your intuition. So in the same way, it's like the heart develops some kind of protective shield around it. You know, when you're outside and it's cold and it's snowing, or we went to New York when it was, 10 below zero. And so then you hunch thinking that that will somehow protect you against the cold. And so then all of a sudden there's all this congestion here, and then you have to work to allow then the heart to breathe again. And so all of your organs are like that. And so the tapping can help to both awaken something that's sleeping. In Ayurveda, it would be called tamas, something that's sluggish, or it can be used in a more fiery or electric way in order to then just dissolve or break up something like calcification around the glands or around the joints. So, namaste, Nikita. Thank you for writing in. Shall we take one from in there? I see about six questions on your side, Andrew.
Yeah, we can go with, if it's okay, there's this great one from the list that looks very interesting.
Sure.
How to maintain balanced self-care time and together time within a relationship.
You start.
That's a good one. Every day.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
This is from Stephanie. Namaste, Stephanie.
Hello. Relationships are a lot of fun. People go, wow, you guys are so fun together. And, it's like, wow, you guys just got this dynamic thing happens all the time. Well, that's good when people see all the great stuff. But within any relationship, to have balance, you have to create it. There's always a give and take. And this, again, for us, we breathe. We will actually, when we disagree or there's certain things that, we're trying to work through with the relationship stuff of just day-to-day things, you'll either see one or both of us go, we're letting it out because it's like something that is a bone of contention or a misunderstanding, or I don't have enough information or whatever. But the balance of it, which is fun, is allowing the other person to have that moment, not try to control it, and get to the point where you can breathe with them. And it's something we do. And I think maintaining balance in the self-care part is, you have to allow, you can do whatever you want, but you have to allow yourself the ability to just go, I don't agree with this moment, and it's okay. And then, have an intention, which is a great word, to go further, and it's not to walk away, but to work through something. The always together that means more than one. That's, two or more people. And in a relationship, it's a give and take. So there's this thing about balance. And within that, the self-care part is, we all do this, not every single person, but we tend to get to some stages of our day where we can actually start beating ourselves up with the relationship stuff. The easiest thing to do is to walk away from something. But again, what have you learned? Nothing. Usually it'll play through again. So as you stick with something and allow yourself the ability to go, I'm not happy at this moment, but create a space to allow change, to allow something where together you guys can come together with a common, breath into, move forward. There's so much more with this. There's actually, volumes and volumes of books on this type of a subject, but it's something that
relationships.
It's something that, you can energetically, you can feel it, but we deny ourselves that thought because of society to actually feel that, maybe I'm not happy, or maybe let's go to the opposite spectrum there would be that everything is so great. How can we make it better? That's where it really is a lot of fun. It's like taking a breath and then you feel it, the other person feels it. Then it's like, oh yeah, and really open up. But it's heart energy. All this beautiful heart energy allows it to go out, to share, to become something greater and connect to source. The spiritual part of a relationship is a must, in my own personal belief. Having something with a common goal of spirituality really is probably one of the best ways of self-care of a relationship. And little to a lot, it's a beautiful thing.
I like all of that. I would say that self-care, as he's describing it, is that time when you connect to yourself or you connect to source. So it's a process of regeneration. So you're taking care of yourself so that you can be of service to someone else. And so then, the time together should be celebratory. It should be fun. You should try new things together. You should plan things together. So like long-term goals or long-term fun, something like that. That's something that you can look forward to together. And so that keeps it kind of light and allows everyone to participate. And so I think what I'm understanding, Stephanie, from your question is that sometimes when you spend too much time together, that there's a sense of drag. You kind of like, somehow you can't get any more out of your interaction. So then it's like, okay, then just meter it out. So you spend some time together. James and I will have time together, and then time apart. We'll do our own thing. Then we'll come together for lunch, and then maybe I'll go shopping, and then he'll work on his luthier work, and then we'll come together for a meeting, like that. And so there should be some kind of there should be a flow. So just like the energy goes between left nostril and right nostril, back and forth every hour and 20 minutes, like that. So every 2 hours or every day or every other day, like there should be some rhythm for coming together and building something together, and then being apart and rejuvenating yourself, restoring, so that when you come back together, you have even more to bring to the table. So namaste, Stephanie.
Another question that's come in is, what can a healer do to take care of his energy and not exhaust himself when taking care of others?
That's a good one. I hear
The
that
million-dollar
all the time.
$1 question.
That's interesting because I've seen how many different schools of different types of modalities and practices, and even in the medical industry, the mainstream medical industry. I get that a lot when I lecture, and it's I guess the easiest way to put it is there's so much of what out there is taught is called grounding. They want you to ground. How do you ground? Well, grounding is a real interesting concept.
Just to clarify, grounding as a means of not taking on other people's stuff. So this is what is his name again?
Village.
Namaste, Village. So he's talking about grounding as a practice of not taking on the energy of the person that you're working on, which exhausts you. Okay.
It does. And, in the word empathy, people taking on, feeling other people's emotions, everybody has that ability within them to whatever degree. But as we take other people's energy and feel it, we work with, especially if you're working with people, and you feel them, you allow your intuition to take over, to give you guidance as you work with what you know, what you feel, and we take on other people's things. Well, out with the old in with the new is a great way to look at a mantra. So grounding is great until you get tired. Grounding is great until you take on something that you can't handle at that moment. The way that has been taught in some of the different modalities, especially in my past, is what we call rooting. And again, what we're doing is we're looking at nature to give us the answers, what's already been there. If you look at trees, you look at plants, you look at everything, it's got roots, all kinds of roots, even we do energetically. If we root, the energy continuously can move through us and goes to the earth, which is supposed to. If we ground and we get tripped up, it's like a fuse or a something that's going to, a lightning rod that'll break. Once that thing breaks or it separates ourself, we hiccup within our own energy. Then that's where we usually get tired. We feel like, you know, our energy is drained, it's not there, or we feel like something's there besides us. So constantly being able to breathe as you do your work or your own practice, when you're feeling other people's energies, it's good to just visualize, if you can, you know, being like a tree or a plant, and just allow this energies to constantly root through you. You could be 56 floors up in a skyscraper and still feel that you're rooted to the earth. It's one of the exercises we do, and it's a lot of fun because it's so tangible that you actually feel it. I mean, and it really holds you to the earth and allows you to move energy.
That's beautiful. I could really feel the grounding or rooting when he was talking. I would also add that when you're working on other people, that you affirm the whole time that they are capable of healing themselves. And James often says, after a session, someone will say, oh, well, thank you so much. Like, you did such a beautiful, you fixed me. And he's like, no, I didn't. You know, we worked together and you did it yourself. And so true healing is something that the person who's ailing does for him or herself. And so as you work, to always have that feeling that it's a perfect world. The people who are coming to you are not broken. People who are coming to you are working through a certain issue. They're learning something. And so the work that you do with them or for them is something that you're doing in order to brighten your own countenance. They talk about the scriptures of like the field around you. It gets more brilliant as you do more service. And so you don't feel drained, because what you're doing is you're increasing your light, you're increasing your heart energy by doing this service and by helping someone who already has the ability within themselves to do their own healing. You know for sure that they will work through this issue in a way that is correct for them. And so then, as James is describing, as we talk about in the retreat, that you're not trying to do the work of that other person. It's another way of saying the same thing. He was talking about a break, like the lightning rod breaks. But if you take on, or you try and do the work of another person, or try and push their timing, hey, you should be able to do this now. It's not true. It's not your work to do. It's their work to do. They do it in their own timing. And so this feeling of buoyancy, this feeling of joy, is increased in your system as you work on them, because you have increased your own light and you have affirmed that the person that you're working on is Puranam, is perfect. And it's a perfect world. They're gonna get all of the blessings, all of the information, all of the guidance that they need in order to go through this change. So the body directs, the consciousness tells you where you're going next. Namaste.
Do we want to wind up with a bit of going inward? I know we've touched on it a few times over the hour.
Okay, good. Why don't we do a meditation? So you can either find a place to sit or lie down so that your head and neck are comfortably supported, and your knees, your ankles and your wrists are uncrossed. And just feel the body relaxing. Allowing the breath to move through the body. Noticing that the temperature of the air is cooler on the way in and warmer on the way out. Allowing for a free flow of energy through the head, the neck, and the body. A free flow of energy through all the joints, the wrists, the ankles, the knees, the hips, shoulders, elbows. Feel a stream of love coming directly from Mother Nature. You can visualize sunlight, ocean waves, trees, the plants. Feeling their love for you. Every time you exhale, you're offering a gift to the plants, the flowers, and the trees. And every time you inhale, you're taking the gift that they have given to you. Breathing in with gratitude the oxygen that has been created by the plants. And feeding them with your own breath. Now we'll just add a simple humming, pressing the lips together and making a sound so that you can feel the vibration of your own voice, your own sound that's created within. taking the energy that you've created through your own breath, through your own humming, and allowing it to fill all the spaces within and without. Feel the love as something viscous, like a liquid, warm light, like honey, filling all the spaces within and without. Take a nice breath in and relax the breath. Just look within and see if there's any more spaciousness. Is there more room for you? Is there more room for allowing? So namaste, everyone. I see there are many more chats and questions that have come through. I've certainly enjoyed doing this. Hopefully we can do it again sooner rather than later, so that we can
meet them there.
Yeah, hopefully we can meet you there in Boone, April 18th through 22nd. Life Chi Renewal Retreat at Art of Living Retreat Center in Boone, North Carolina.
It's an amazing mountain, amazing staff, amazing facility. It's my favorite.
It has a very beautiful heart energy. If you haven't been to Art of Living, highly recommend it.
It's worth really, if you haven't, checking out the history of the place. It's magnificent. It's amazing, amazing energy there.
Yeah, that's why we're going. It has a lot of meditative energy and a lot of God energy and a lot of softness, which you don't often find. That kind of just softness. You know, there's no type A there. Like, we're gonna get to enlightenment now. Like that doesn't happen there. So yeah, beautiful place. Hope to see you there. Andrew, do you have anything to add? So thank you so much for joining us, and we will read all of your questions and we will discuss them on our next Thrive and digital encounter. Namaste, everyone. I don't know. Okay, I'll just play out then.
Thank you so much, Wa. Thank you, Dr. James. That was beautiful being with both of you tonight.
Thank you, Andrew.
And feel welcome to play out.
Okay. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala 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 Jaya Jaya Maki Jai.
Well, thank you both, and wishing everyone a great weekend and a week ahead.
Yes.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. So forward to seeing you.
Too.